Today, a new report from the Tax Justice Network argues that countries could raise $2.1 trillion a year by following the example of Spain's wealth tax on the top half of 1% of richest households. Well, let's hear from Mark Abou-Mansour from the Tax Justice Network. Interesting to have you on the programme, Mark. So just tell us what's happening in Spain then. How does their system work?
So it's a feather-light tax of roughly 2 to 3%, and it only applies on the richest household, roughly 0.5%. Yet this small tax can raise a huge amount of money for countries around the world, 2 trillion, which is on par with countries' climate financing needs. But just as important as the money that we could raise with this wealth tax, our report also talks about the ways in which the extreme wealth of the super rich is making our economies insecure, and how wealth tax tackles the root of this problem.
But when countries introduce a tax or taxes on the super rich, they just move elsewhere, don't they? I mean, is what happens. They just move from the UK, for example, if we were to do that, or the US or whatever, to another country where they can live without paying those taxes.
That's not actually the case. This is an area where public perception has been lagging behind the evidence. Recent wealth taxes in Norway, Sweden, and Denmark all resulted in a migration rate of 0.01% among the super rich who were taxed. So what the data shows is that the super rich do not leave en masse. And what's more striking is that the data shows if countries do not implement wealth taxes, that is far more harmful to their economies, because the extreme wealth of the super rich has been directly linked to lower economic productivity, to more debt among households, to poor educational outcomes, and to shorter lifespans. And the root of all this is the two-tier system we use to treat wealth.